Hare Krishna. Today I would like to discuss an interview with Madhu Pandit Prabhu, in which he delivered some of the most important theses on which his position on the Guru system in Iskcon rests. Therefore, I want to voice these theses. Madhu Pandit Prabhu, it has been 21 years since you and Krishnakant visited me in Moscow in 2001. During this time, I had the opportunity to understand everything correctly and draw conclusions. Then we were like-minded people, we shared the same ideas. I remember how you, me and Krishnakant walked along the Red Square in Moscow. And now I'm your opponent, because I expose Ritvik's Siddhanta. Today you are one of the flagships of the Ritvik movement, and you have a great influence in India and all over the world. I think that you had enough time to figure everything out and take the right position. Therefore, I must challenge you and refute your thesis from your interview. And so we begin. So you said, question about Guru, who is Srila Prabhupada's successor in Iskcon, who should be considered a bona fide Diksha Guru, 11 zonal acharyas like they were not authorized, etc. Then they began falling down, and the devotees accepted them as being with the same level of Prabhupada or on the same level as Krishna. Yes, it was indeed a mistake. Those 11 did not have the necessary qualification at that time, so there was a series of deviations. And Tamal Krishna Goswami's confession, which the Ritviks love to quote, you carefully read this confession. It does not say that these 11 were to act as Ritviks after Prabhupada's departure. It only says that they prematurely appointed themselves gurus without being qualified to do so, and that a guru becomes a guru when he reaches the necessary qualifications. In your statements you are referring to Caitanya Mahaprabhu, Amara Agya Guru Hana. Everyone should become a guru. The Caitanya Mahaprabhu's movement is meant to create gurus for spreading Krishna consciousness, not to take the position of a pure devotee who is a representative of Krishna, who is free from material desires. That was your thesis. The problem is that, unless you become a pure devotee, you cannot spread Krishna consciousness. How can you distribute what you yourself don't have? This is a contradiction. The meaning of this phrase by Caitanya Mahaprabhu is to become a pure devotee and spread Krishna consciousness. Instruct everyone to follow the orders of Lord Sri Krishna as they are given in the Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. In this way, become a spiritual master and try to liberate everyone in this land. That is, one should stay at home, chant Hare Krishna mantra and preach the instructions of Krishna as they are given in the Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. You say this doesn't refer to pure devotees, but simply to any devotees who follow the instructions and preach what they heard from Prabhupada. The problem with your explanation is that in order to preach the Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam as they are, you have to understand these scriptures, and in order to understand them, you have to become a pure devotee. Let's quote the following. All Vedic literature maintains that Srimad Bhagavatam has to be learned from the person Bhagavata. And to understand it, one has to engage in pure devotional service. Srimad Bhagavatam cannot be understood by so-called erudite scholars or grammarians. One who has developed pure Krishna consciousness and has served the pure devotee, the spiritual master, can understand Srimad Bhagavatam. Others cannot. Note that the quote says, one who has developed pure Krishna consciousness. What is pure Krishna consciousness? Is Prema Bhakti, that is, it is the level of pure unalloyed devotional service, and only a pure devotee can understand Srimad Bhagavatam. Others cannot, as the quote says. Therefore, the verse of Mahaprabhu, Amara Agya Guru Hana, this is Mahaprabhu's call to become a pure devotee, i.e. a guru, and preach the mission of Mahaprabhu. You also speak, Guru must be Mahabhagavata, bona fide spiritual master. Guru should be on the same level with God. And it is true. But then you say that Diksha Guru is the only one who takes responsibility for one, so he is the main Guru. And there can be many shiksha gurus. And in Iskcon there should be only one Diksha Guru and many shiksha Gurus. You are implying that a Diksha Guru is a pure devotee and shiksha Guru may not be a pure devotee. This is a delusion and misunderstanding of the Guru Tattva. Both Diksha and shiksha Gurus must be pure devotees. The outer manifestation of the Paramatma appears first as the shiksha Guru. All pure devotees are a priori shiksha Gurus. Just when a shiksha Guru gives you a mantra, he becomes a Diksha Guru. But initially, the Guru appears as a shiksha Guru. So we quote, Gurun is plural in number because anyone who gives spiritual instructions based on the revealed scriptures is accepted as a spiritual master. Although others give help in showing the way to beginners, the Guru who first initiates one with Maha Mantra is to be known as the initiator, and the saints who give instructions for progressive advancement in Krishna consciousness are called instructing spiritual masters. The initiating and instructing spiritual masters are equal and identical manifestations of Krishna, although they have different dealings. It is the duty of shiksha Guru or Diksha Guru to instruct the disciple in the right way, and it depends on the disciple to execute the process. According to Shastric injunctions, there is no difference between shiksha Guru and Diksha Guru, and generally, the shiksha Guru later on becomes the Diksha Guru. Therefore, your thesis is that there should be one Diksha Guru in Iskcon, but there can be many shiksha Gurus, contradicts the principle of the Parampara, which says that a shiksha Guru can give a mantra and become a Diksha Guru. Then, if we follow your logic that there should be one Diksha Guru in Iskcon, then there should be one shiksha Guru in Iskcon either, because the Shastras do not forbid a shiksha Guru to initiate and become a Diksha Guru. Therefore, there should be no shiksha Gurus in Iskcon other than Prabhupada. Next you speak. In a letter dated July 9th, Prabhupada appointed or established how initiations into Iskcon would be conducted after Prabhupada's departure, that everything will happen the same as it did under Prabhupada, that the Ritviks initiated devotees who never met Prabhupada physically and progressed in the process. If this scenario worked before Prabhupada's departure, why can't it work now, as you said? Now this scenario cannot work for several reasons. Firstly, in the history of the Parampara, there are no examples when Ritviks acted on behalf of departed Acharya or king. To act as Ritvik on someone's behalf, that one must be physically present. The letter dated July 9th says Ritvik is the representative of the Acharya, that is, the representative of the Acharya. Hence, the conclusion is, if there is no Acharya, there are no representatives of the Acharya. If officiating Acharyas were written in that letter, as they were mentioned in 28 May conversation, then yes, such representatives could act on behalf of Prabhupada because they themselves are Acharyas, representing the founder's Acharya. Conditioned souls cannot be representatives of the Mahabhagavata. So Krishnakant's interpretation that these 11 were supposed to be Prabhupada's representatives, or the Ritviks after his departure, is ridiculous. This letter was valid until Prabhupada's departure, as indicated by the fact the names of newly initiated disciples should be sent by the representative who had accepted him or her to Srila Prabhupada, to be included in Divine Grace's Initiated Disciples book. That is, Prabhupada took part in this process and was an integral part of the system. Without Prabhupada, this condition cannot be fulfilled. And if you follow this letter as it requires, then to whom will you send these names now? The answer is to no one, because the idea of initiating devotees on behalf of Prabhupada is the idea of some fallen gurus that was popularized by Krishnakant. One of your most prominent ideas is that your system is the Prabhupadacharya system, like it is in Sri Ramanuja sampradaya. However, it is not. In the Ramanuja sampradaya, Ramanuja is the founder Acharya who left behind 74 disciples who acted as gurus. and after Ramanuja Acharya, the Parampara continues. And in this Parampara there are acting Acharyas, that is Diksha Gurus. In your own system there are no Acharyas and Diksha Gurus, and there are only Ritviks who are not Acharyas, but supposedly are just representatives of Prabhupada. Therein lies the error, because the conditioned cannot represent the departed Mahabhagavata. To be the representative of Mahabhagavata, only another Mahabhagavata can. If you know the formula Bhakti Bhakta Bhagavan do not belong to this material world, what it means explained in this video. In brief, this means not Bhakta cannot be the servant of Bhagavan. Not Bhakta, that means not pure devotee, is not a servant of Bhagavan. He can represent neither Bhakti nor Bhakta nor Bhagavan, cause he is an outsider of this formula. On the contrary, that one who is Bhakta can represent all of them. So not a devotee of Krishna cannot be representative of a devotee. So the Ritviks who are conditioned cannot be representative of Bhakta Srila Prabhupada. If they were called Ritvik Acharyas, it means they supposed to occupy the position of a pure devotee. In this case, they can represent the departed Mahabhagavata, as a pure devotee is already an Acharya by his function. Therefore, if it had been written in the letter dated July 9th that these 11 are the Ritvik Acharyas, there would have been fewer questions, but it is written representative of the Acharya. So if Acharya departed means there should not be any representatives of the Acharya. This is the actual meaning of July 9th letter. So Ritviks, stop speculating over this letter already. So Madhu Pandit Prabhu, stop confusing all the world by representing Upper Siddhanta. Innocent people watch your video and get confused. Don't do this, you're creating a big disservice to Srila Prabhupada. If those Ritviks were not representatives of the Acharya, but were Ritvik Acharyas, it would be quite different point. At least there could be a system similar to the Sri Sampradaya, where the Acharyas are the representatives of Ramanuja, but these representatives themselves, they are Acharyas. All the same, it is understood that the Acharyas are pure devotees. I don't think you intentionally wanted to mislead people. It is just that Krishnakant made many philosophical and logical mistakes in his reasoning. This is typical of all of us conditioned beings. When the host asked you about the principle of Guru Sadhu Shastra, you replied that Prabhupada was the Guru and he wanted to remain the last link of the Parampara. It is like Prabhupada wanted the Ritvik system to be operated after his departure. And then you appeal to Prabhupada's letter to Dinesh, saying that Parampara is disciplic conclusions and not physical succession. However, it is not correct interpretation to the letter to Dinesh. Regarding the disciplic succession coming from Arjuna, disciplic succession does not always mean that one has to be initiated officially. Disciplic succession means to accept the disciplic conclusion. Arjuna was a disciple of Krishna, and Brahma was also a disciple of Krishna. Thus, there is no disagreement between the conclusion of Brahma and Arjuna. Vyasadeva is in the disciplic succession of Brahma. The teaching to Arjuna was recorded by Vyasadeva verbatim. So, according to the axiomatic truth, things equal to one another are equal to each other. We are not exactly directly from Vyasadeva, but our Guru Deva is a representative of Vyasadeva, because Vyasadeva and Arjuna are equal status, being students of Krishna. Therefore, we are in the disciplic succession of Arjuna. Things equal to the same thing are equal to one another. So, Prabhupada's phrase, disciplic succession, does not always mean that one has to be initiated officially, means that Arjuna was not initiated in our Brahma sampradaya, or maybe was not initiated officially at all, but Arjuna's conclusions were transmitted to us through Parampara from Vyasadeva. One may not be initiated officially, but he has to have a manifested spiritual master who is considered as an external manifestation of the Paramatma, or representative of the Super Soul, Adi 158. That requirement is undeniable. So departed Acharyas cannot be the current link, as the current link is a representative of the super soul, and the representative of the super soul has to be manifested before external senses. Simply put, he must be physically present. So, your grand show has nothing to do with Prabhupada's desires. So, Madhu Pandit Prabhu, come back to the Siddhanta path. So I understand it won't be easy for you and maybe even impossible. But remember, life is very short. And what luggage will you take with you in your next life? Pray to Gaur Nitai and Prabhupada. They can help you to arrange everything in the right way. Hare Krishna.